This is Harry Gines, case number 9910-255. Harry Gines versus the United States. I bring that today to all women of the world because today it is very important that I bring such a case of reparations to their knowledge. If they haven't heard of Harry Gines versus the United States, today let it be known that I am in full support of your day of having reparations. But right now, all women of the world are having a month to recognize their movement. It is very important that that gets supported. And that's what I'm here today to do, is to give as much support to the women in their month. And that's all women. Now today it might seem like I'm being a little biased, focusing on primarily trying to establish a bond and a path. Although it is Women's Month, I mean, I'm not here to preach to you. Okay, let's just try to get something a little established a little bit. I'm not here to preach to you. That's not what I do. What I'm trying to do is pass some information on that could be helpful, but I can't preach. That's not, I'm not a holy man. I'm being honest with you. That's something that would be unfair to you for you to look at me in that fashion. I'm not a holy man. But in saying that, as a historian and those of our same path being of faith, the faith will bond us so that we know when we do speak of man, woman is inseparable. That is what needs to be understood. They're inseparable because you can't have a division amongst the sexes. Now, maybe this might have got us started during the time of the Million Man March. I don't know. But yet you can't have a division in the sense, I'm going to take you with me no matter what. Make no doubt. And I believe you would do the same for me. So in doing that, recognizing how biblical books have spoke of man and woman, the woman coming from the rib of a man. You see, so if that bonds us at all, it would have to. As you look at God's creations, there's always male and female. So together, always remember when I'm trying to speak, I'm trying to give you your month, but yet after your month, let me make sure that you are able to have something to carry along with you along the path. You don't want this just to be a month. I'm sure you don't want it like that. You want it to be able to spark something that you will be able to have with you once the month is over. Why sure you would. But there must be a foundation to this presentation. I've already given you Harry Gines versus the United States. That alone is what I bring to the table. But yet, in trying to establish a core and giving respects to, it is Women's Month, and like I said, this may appear to be bias at this point. I'm going to do a series of presentations based on the lives and the legacy of women. So today, whenever I'm speaking primarily of women of color, just keep in mind, we're not trying to pass, away any supporters. We don't want, push any supporters away. You see, it has always been the other ethnics who have had the compassion for the people of color. That's how it's come about. In freeing you, there's only one woman that I can even think of in history that has actually freed anybody, and that's Harriet Tubman. So when you start speaking of who freed you or who was in the battle even before the Civil War, you see, she may have sparked the Civil War, Harriet Tubman herself. So, when it comes to being a warrior, the women of the 21st century have a great legacy worthy of any male support. You see, and that's what I'm trying to do. But at the same token, all I'm saying is, let's stay together. I want that. That's what I want. I don't want to break up like this. Okay, so if I can just share just a moment of those who have really paved a way, with great sacrifice. These women, they're inseparable. You can't have one without the other. It's not really possible. There's just too much. There's too much in the life here. It's just too much. You can't separate, the action. The action happened to many women. You see, Miss Rosa Parks, she's always, when she was with us, made it known that she was not the first person to ever stand up, in protest of giving her seat up to a white person. She wasn't the first one to do that, and so she's always let it be known, these two here, this must be, the cover page, for the movement. It must be. There's no way around it. So in giving that much, without trying to juggle my presentation, I'm trying to lay foundation along the way. But these two women right here, like I spoke in the beginning, this is for all women, but yet whether they be dead or alive, today Harry Gines is here to speak so that these women can be an inspiration for the world. Let that be known. Now, we had already spoke many times we spoke about Miss Rosa Parks, but as we go into politics, we're trying to keep this presentation more towards the forefront so that you guys can recognize, it's happening right now. This woman here was very special in her day, and she still can be. I don't know where she's at, what she's doing, but you recognize her. Yes, this is a very special woman, in U.S. history. Yes, she is. So we want to make sure that we're not trying to just go down memory lane and speaking about Miss Harriet Tubman. We know Miss Tubman, her legacy, for what she done was a great sacrifice. So we know what she put forth, But as we look at it, trying to keep it more into the 21st century and trying to give you something, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for a man of color to pass anything on to a male or a female in the 21st century. I'm trying to leave you with something. Just in mentioning Harry Gines versus the United States, that brings a lot to the table, because what it focuses on the fact that Lincoln did not make you a U.S. citizen. Now, you might say, oh, well, all those laws has changed, and well, why would you accept it? Those laws were never really even argued. Someone set forth something for you, which you never really had a chance or an opportunity to say one way or another. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So if you're looking for the path, if you're looking for where to litigate at your strongest point, this is your strongest point, that your U.S. citizenship has never been granted to you properly. You see, because there would be some who would rather want what Lincoln wanted. So with that being said, we must make that point a little bit more stronger so you can understand how each and every woman who has bore a child of color, make no doubt, this person being drafted into the United States military during the time of Vietnam. When the last time you've seen the United States do a draft? Why is that? You never asked yourself why? They're always fighting. The United States is always fighting someone, but yet the draft doesn't seem to be on the forefront. It kind of stopped at the time of Vietnam. Why is that? But you're always fighting somebody. Now we have to look at it. We have to look at it. Now, hold on. Because I'm speaking to women of the world. Now, I don't know whether you realize it or not, But yet, some kind of way, the Pentagon has got it set up to draft women. Now, I didn't see, I was trying to tell you, this may not be bias. This may not be something that's just bias speaking on women of color. I said the Pentagon got it set up, looking to draft women. Now, you might say you want to fend for your country and all this, that, and another. Some women may feel that way, but then some women may not. You see, and I've always felt, no, I don't want my mama on no front line at all. Now, excuse me, if you're looking for somebody to fend for the country or something, well, this is where the dilemma of the battle really is. And I'm being honest with you. If the men back in the day of Vietnam, they even questioned it, but yet at the time, everything just kind of died out, But it was always questioned as for how would a poor man, fend for something that he had already been treated like a dog, during the civil rights, that he had to, go through a great deal. Now, come draft time, everybody want to come get him, you see, and put him in a soldier uniform with an M16. He didn't really even know what he was over there for in the first place. This is a battle that has both sexes always in a dilemma when it comes to the draft. And you being a female and this being your month, no, I'm making sure you got something with you that you bringing to the table so that you can make it clear whether you want to be a U.S. citizen or whether you want to be a U.S. non-citizen. But the fact that the Pentagon done something and you ain't even trying to, speak out on it. I don't understand. You're going to sit back and wait for something to happen. See, that's why, no, ain't no sitting back. Ain't no sitting back now. You're going to get up. You say you want to come to the table, but this is all part of it. Yeah, fitting for your country. So you got some decisions to make when you start questioning equal rights and civil rights. Or do you? But make sure you're getting all your clauses in order so that when you come to the table, you ain't backtracking, leaving something that you should have brought to the table. See, once you start taking reparations and taking them checks, you done sealed your destiny as a full U.S. citizen. Make no doubt to that. That's what you would be. Now, come draft time, just remember that check you took. Yeah. So it is possible, but make sure you get all your clauses in order. That's all I'm asking for. I'm bringing something to the table to let you know if you were to check Lincoln, and a lot of y'all know this. I'm not trying to tell you something you don't already know. I'm just saying you don't do nothing about it. Male or female. You see, now you're going to sit back and wait. When you just keep on sitting, then when they pull it on you, yeah. Don't say nobody didn't try to give you some heads up. Because it's a lot of people don't like me to try to speak to anybody. You see, I'm Harry Gines, declared red active by the United States government just because I try to tell the truth. Now, how you going to tell me I'm lying when you got it in your history, but you don't want nobody to even go to school and learn it? You see, Lincoln did not make you a U.S. citizen. If you are not a citizen of the United States, how are you even thinking to be drafted? In the U.S. military, there's no such person could ever be drafted like that. You switched the game. That's what you did for your advantage. You see, I never had a say in it. Now, Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. That's a lot there. But see, lots of times in just speaking, we such individuals today. I give you just one little comparison. I'm not trying to juggle my presentation in any way. But to even think of a Martin Luther King dream as a reality, yeah, that's a lot. Just that as a reality. And if it came to pass, as we see it today, always remember this. You have accepted a lot more in dealing with Martin Luther King than what they really wanted on the table. You've accepted a lot. Because once Martin and Malcolm was killed, all them issues of being drafted into the military, all them issues kind of died right then too. It ain't like they went away. It's just that nobody really wants to talk about it until it happens. No, we ain't going out like that. I gave you something. But I'm going to show you how personal it can get for each individual. Because like I told you, looking at Martin Luther King's dream, that's a lot. But individually speaking, that is what I'm here today to talk to every woman in the world. You see, if it wasn't your daddy, then support somebody who else had a daddy in this situation. Every woman can get involved just by giving the support. Now I'm going to show you where it's at. Your daddy being drafted into Vietnam, seeing how Vietnam is the last time that there was a draft. I just told you he wasn't a U.S. citizen under Lincoln. How he get that in? He never had any say in his destiny, but yet you say he a free man. You set the conditions. Yeah, but he's women's daddy. Now, the women, seeing how you can see that your daddy was a victim, what you gonna do about it? See, we gotta start on ground zero sometimes. Now, I know a lot of y'all ain't really, in a position to file a case, but that could be to your advantage because the court does have a form for such poor people. It's called a form of paupers. That's what it's called. So I'm not trying to give you no excuses. I'm taking away your excuses. Like I said, it was your daddy that was a victim. That's how we linked. I told you, we inseparable. You gonna have to fend for your daddy, whether he dead or alive. Now, how easy is that? Your daddy, yeah, he got a social security number. That number is still linking him back to the military. Yeah, it stayed with him. So it ain't hard to find, inquiring. You inquiring about a veteran, your daddy. That's something everybody can do. How you get him there in this condition in the first place? You knew he wasn't no citizen. You knew what Lincoln wanted, but you did it anyway. That's why today, if you came with a draft, no, Harry Gines versus United States is already here. He's already here and he's letting it be known. You have the right to be a U.S. non-citizen as Lincoln set forth for you. That is what I'm saying. How can you tell somebody that you've been fair about it when you didn't took the 18 sections that Lincoln wanted for black people? You didn't cut all that down to 2 sections. That's what you do. And then you say you're being fair. The people catching on, they just don't know how to use it. I'm here to tell them how to use it, but it's legal. See, even the elders told you. I can show you. They was leaving a path for you all along in their words. Hold on a second. I got one. Her right here. Now you look at this. You look at it. This is what this woman said. You got a right to follow this woman. Look at it. That's what she said. You ain't got to believe what I say. You say it's Women's Month. Well, this is what she said. Yeah, she was back in the day of Harriet Tubman. The real strong women back then. They knew. They knew wherever your chances would be. Make sure you got this woman. And what's she really about? She about the law. See, something happened. Something happened somewhere in between us not being able to read was really very damaging. It was very damaging, but yet some could. And as they tried to pass a little something on, that thought now that you could even read to what the elder was trying to pass on to you, you was under such an oppression that makes you a victim. You better not speak out about your daddy back then, but what's stopping you now? Yeah, I understand. It was a lot of oppression, you see, to speak out on something. But now, I ain't giving you no excuse. These was the same issues, like I said. You take the life. You don't like it. I know you don't. But every time you keep trying to hold a grudge and passing judgment, yeah, the Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, that's right. You heard it. But the problem is, he raised somebody who you do like. I got him right here. Look. This one here, the same thing that I just got through telling you under the law. Under the law. This one right here. This one followed the Elijah Muhammad. Now you may not like the Elijah Muhammad. I'm not here to try to run a popularity contest. I'm just laying the path out. That's all this is about. Now, like I said, he raised champions. Yes. That's what he did. And it's a reason for it. Why he rejected induction into the military. The path is not something that Harry Gines is necessarily trying to set claim to. I've just been on that path. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's legal. He was on that path. Like I said, Elijah Muhammad, yes. We breathing on somebody. He really spent time with Cassius Clay. Muhammad Ali, he spent time with him, yes. You see, gave him a new way of understanding who he was. You see, not just a heavyweight champion, but as a man, he had to learn, not going against his parents, but yet he had to open up and find out what the world was. You know, the parent couldn't really give it to him because maybe they didn't get what maybe Elijah got. I don't know. I mean, you really go back, you know, to the era of Elijah Muhammad and when he was born. You see, now his parents, here we go again, his mother, his daddy were very close to the era of a slave. Yes. And as articulate as he spoke, more likely his people were somebody who might could have read and could have maybe even heard or knew. No, we was never citizens. So if they pass that on to anybody, it's been very difficult over the generations to get you to understand that, especially with all the grudges you have. Yes, women have a lot of grudges, you know, and that's been, you know, spearing out on everybody for generations. And all I'm asking for is the good attributes to be taken in. That's all. And he raised the champion. You know, ain't nobody got nothing bad to say about Ali. You see, but you have to recognize where his core came from. That's all. You know, look at the good attributes of a man and stay on this path, because I've already laid it out for you. You know, it's very easy to get documentation today, you know, from great men being in the military. You know, I mean, great men. It's very easy to find that today. That's not a hard thing to find. You know, there's plenty of men out here who have given their lives, you know, for the United States, But yet, when it came time for them, they wasn't able to get even recognized in the United States. Look at this man. Look at this man. Yes, he's from the Tuskegee Airmen. That's what he is. He's a pilot. This man is a pilot back in the day of World War II. You see, so, excuse me. There may be always a time for volunteers. You see, no one's trying to stop anything or trying to start an uprising. All I'm saying is, you knew the issues then, and they haven't gone away. It's just that if anybody speak out to join Battle Rib, you even at women now. This is the Pentagon. It's all over Google. I mean, is Google wrong? I mean, there's a lot of things out here that we have to, take into consideration. Social media is upon us right now. So there's a lot of information coming out. And yes, they have went at women, all women. So because I try to pass something to you, it's hard. It's hard. It really is. It's very hard to try to get people to understand, it's not even a loophole. I'm not talking about, trying to, swindle anybody or, duke up some kind of story. No, you've just been deprived. You've been a victim, and especially that compounds when you start talking about reparations because there's a lot of vets. It's a lot of vets, been vets, World War II vets still around, so it's been a lot of vets that had no business there. When you start speaking to people in their family, mine in particular, I had an uncle, he tell a story, how do you get drafted twice? So, yeah, I know that sounds kind of strange. I know, but yeah, he got, done his time, got the discharge and everything. And next thing you know, he was called back again, done 2 terms on being drafted. So, and you just try to explain that to people, they look at you like, well, what? Yeah, I know. They get dumb real quick, and if you can even prove that, 2 discharges, man, had 2 discharges, both under being drafted. Excuse me. I'm sick too, It's hard out here, trying to get people to come together and be able to accept a path that has already been laid out. The path has been laid out long before any of us have come along, But as the path, gets shorter, you would think more education would come along, and then the people would be able to say, no, that's not right either. There's something wrong with that. That's all people are trying to say. Something wrong with it. And you can fix it. Sure you can. You can fix it. But yet, until people really come together, and just accept what the path really is. That's all I'm trying to say. How can you keep going over and over the same thing, and you just keep going down history and not, no light bulb ever clicks on for you? None. How to put it together? Harry Guines versus United States has spent most of his life, trying to wait for this day to give you this. I'm 62 years old. My age, I don't know, it might be 61, 62. They tell a story about everything about me, But what I'm trying to tell you is, as you get on this path, you would have to see at some point how so many individuals are being victims, but yet not really do anything about it. You accept a lot, So as long as you keep accepting these things, and yet you're talking about change, they can be changed, but you leave a lot on the table when you just simply take a check. You know, there's got to be a lot of clauses to that, a lot of clauses, because I can't see how a person can just accept anything when there's people before you who showed you they wasn't going for it. You know, they wasn't going for that. You know, but you say you more educated today. You know, these are things that I want you just to ponder and try to take it all in, take a moment, you know, to just say, well, somebody was trying to give something, you know. And by the way, I want you to know this one thing about Harry Gines versus the United States. The court is going to always lead you and misdirect you when you start inquiring about Harry Gines, okay? That's going to happen. But I'm alive today. So if I'm alive and I'm available for my story to tell you that my case, Harry Gines versus the United States, is as active as it was the day it was approved for certiorari. It can be just that simple as being that active. Yes, I am part of U.S. history. That case cannot be erased. You can't erase it. You know, you can have all the House bills you want. I'm not against anything that you're doing. All I'm saying is make sure that all the clauses. I'm sick, y'all. Excuse me. All the clauses are made aware, because trying to come back later on with things, no, it's not that simple. That's called amending a petition, and you don't want to do that. You know, your story can't get in the middle and then start adding things, you know, because then the lower court that you came from didn't hear that issue. So you just can't keep adding things, and, you know, it has to stay on that path, you know, when you're dealing with the courts. So make sure when you're stating that claim, you know, that you don't veer off to, you know, who knows what. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, get your claim in and be able to show that, no, you were not giving the fullest of the 13th Amendment. And by the way, see, that's what happens. The 13th being first, here comes the 14th Amendment. And I try to explain this in some of my other videos. You know, they're on YouTube, Harry Gines' YouTube channel. But I can't go over every bit. I have over 20 something videos, so I can't sit here and go through every one of them, you know, within this presentation. But it could be some other interests there that you might want to check out. That's Harry Gines' YouTube channel on YouTube. Now, if you do that, you know, you may be able to see, you know, some things have already been there for you. You can get some good answers for. So this is Harry Gines, and I hope that I can get another presentation to you real soon. But right now, I'm going to have to go. My cold is calling me, and as you can see, you know, I need to go take care of that. But until next time, like I said, I have a series of women presentations coming. So bear with me, and please take some action.